When I originally had this idea of going to Greenland to cross the ice cap, I contacted Antarctic Heritage Trust and they told me that they had this cool competition going, and I entered in that and kind of forgot about it for a while there, and one day I get an email and you've been one of the people been selected for this expedition. It was just something that kind of came up in my life, and I seized the opportunity, and a few months later I managed to pass all the tests and off I went to Greenland to cross the ice cap. This team had one meeting before we actually got out on the ice, so it was like meeting a bunch of new people and heading off into a potentially dangerous and life-changing sort of environment. From an ADHD point of view, I think the biggest challenge would most definitely have been being part of a team. For me personally, I've always had to rely on myself, always had to just do things my way, and if something doesn't work, I've had to figure it out on my own. When there's obviously other elements, other people's ideas, other people's personalities coming into it, it creates quite a challenging environment to stay true to yourself and stay true to what you would normally do, but then also having to change what you would do in order to suit the needs of the other group. So I'm about to set off with the rest of the team. Who would do something like this? Who would come out into the middle of nowhere and decide to walk across the polar ice cap? Rudolf Nansen did. And so did I. The expedition was for inspiring explorers to cross the ice cap. We started at a place called Kangalusak. From there it was meant to take 25 days from one side to the other, straight across the middle of the ice cap. We get out on the ice and it suddenly became apparent that this wasn't going to be a physical journey for myself. It was going to be totally mental. I could see other group members getting tired. You right? I could see this all happening and see this going on, but didn't really feel like I had the opportunity to say, oh, why didn't you do it like this? Because I didn't want to upset anyone. I guess that's all part of being part of a team, knowing when to bite your tongue and knowing when to actually speak up and say something. Hello?
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Oh, so bad. Yeah.
3 or 4 days in, I was now starting to carry other people's gear.
We're out here on the middle of the ice cap. There is not much going on other than white in every direction. I'm batshit bored, which is making me batshit crazy.
When I get out there, the first few days are always this weird transition period.
Oh, damn it. Damn it.
Where in my head I'm kind of lost and I'm not sure what I'm doing. But then all of a sudden, once I have the opportunity to take out all of those crazy things that are going on a million miles an hour inside my brain, pull them back, and suddenly there's nothing except for maybe one or two things that I suddenly realize are the important things. And for me, that's really hard to do. To almost go into a state of meditation where I can think clearly and I can understand all the different things that are going on in my life.
It's not about conquering a mountain or conquering Greenland's ice cap. It's about coming to terms with your own demons and fighting them in your own way. Being out here gives you that time to reflect on whatever it is you want to do and whatever demon you want to fight.
Being out in the middle of nowhere has this profound effect on my brain where the stress just melts away and suddenly that headspace that I'm in when I'm conforming with the society that lives inside the box, it disappears and I'm me and I'm happy.
And this, friends, is how you make a sauna out of a tent. So, out here on the ice is one thing that we don't really get.
Echoes, but I've just found one. Listen.
Echo, 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 echo.
well, being part of a social team out there on the ice. My ADHD was mentally challenging just in the aspect of learning about each and every person that we were out there with.
And no reply.
No mates.
No mates. Only Frank, who is in here. Do you want to meet Frank?
We'd love to meet Frank. My name's Frank.
Never again.
No, that was great.
I wouldn't say that was necessarily a challenge or something that was hard, but it was definitely something that kept my mind ticking over. The struggles with myself is sometimes finding the motivation to do things that I don't particularly want to do.
The weather's starting to turn bad, so I'm building a wall because the wind's meant to get up to 100 kilometers an hour, gusting tonight and tomorrow. That's like hurricane territory.
I can see a gap, I can see a hole that needs fixing, and I'm just driven to make things work. So I think having that ADHD was definitely a benefit out there on the ice, because it just gave me the drive to make everything run smooth.
Holy shit! So windy! The wind has intensified, and it looks like we're going to be stuck in here, but not one day, but two! Welcome to Brando's world. We just spent the day in the tent. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, and we just survived a hurricane. That was a crazy night. In my thinking out here on the ice, I've kind of summarized exploration into 2 words: command and conquer. And it's not about conquering what you're doing, but it's about commanding your body and all of its physical aspects, and conquering your mind so that you can push through just about anything that you face out there, wherever it is or whatever it is that you may be doing.
The plan was to start on one side and walk all the way across to the other, the only thing in the middle being a big old radar station, which was based there during the Cold War. It was kind of the first communication line when the Americans were watching the Russians.
Holy smokes, there's a cigar.
Other than that, it was just big flat open spaces. We had to travel large distances each day. We tried to get anywhere from 20 to 30 kilometres in, so that finishing this journey within the 25-day kind of days limit was possible. Obviously plans change and things never really turn out exactly how you have planned. So we ended up taking 30 days. It was a pretty big journey.
What can you see?
The sea. I can see the sea.
It's the last day, and we just spotted the ocean. It's always a sad feeling finishing an expedition. It's taught me some pretty cool things about myself and made me have some real realizations about my life, about what I stand for and what I believe in. Lack of stimulation that I had on my brain for the past 28 days was one of the most rewarding feelings and most boring feelings I've ever felt. Every time you go out there into these isolated places, it gives you perspective on your life. I mean, without perspective on our lives, how are we to know what's real and what's not?
I do this because I want to inspire other people to get out there and be curious, to live their dreams, and seek out that inspiration from the world that's around us.